Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, as you can see, I'm doing things differently yet again. I like to keep it moving, I like to keep it switching up, and I like to do things differently. So, I like to keep things moving and evolving. And what I've done here is what it feels like everything was driving towards. It just took me a little while to find my stride, but now that I've got it, I'm hoping that you love it. So every month when I do your reading, I give you a card for each week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that card as your key to the week, and I'm going to see how that energy infuses the week ahead. So hopefully this helps you in some way, shape or form. And this week you got the Lovers card, right, as your overarching energy. So this week there is definitely an air of choice, having to make big decisions this week. But it also looks like this week you are placing more focus and emphasis on how to choose things that you feel really aligned with, and ultimately following where your heart really feels like it's at. This is a week for you to really be true to yourself. It's a week for you to discover how to bring various different aspects of yourself, those opposing energies or polarities within you. How do you bring them together, and how does that express itself in your life? This week, your actions and your path, you have the Five of Swords. Sagittarius, this week, it looks like you are kind of on the warpath. Because your actions and your path is what you do, right? This is what you do. It's how you show up. It's what you choose to act on, move with, all the rest of it. Your Five of Swords, fraught communication. Sometimes it is those difficult conversations that need to be had. Sometimes it is calling people out on their bullshit when you see it or smell it. Sometimes it is where you just have to say what you have to say and get it over and done with. But whenever I see the Five of Swords, this is always a verbal battle of some sort, and very often it's one that needs to happen. So when you see the Five of Swords as in your actions, this is about you going in. You've got something to say. It's kind of like this week you're saying to yourself, you know, and to the world, I will be heard for what it is that I have to say, and I don't really care necessarily how that makes anybody else feel. Now that's always a good thing. It's all, you know, they say that unless you've stood up for something in your life, and well, unless you've got enemies because you stood up for something in your life, you haven't really lived a true authentic expression of who you are. And I totally buy into that idea. There's times where I've clashed words or swords with people, not swords literally, but do you know what I mean? I've clashed words with people, and I refuse to back down. Sometimes you have to stand your ground. Sagittarius is a very brave sign, right? And you guys are very, very brave. You're also very wise. And the only thing that I will say to you, when I see the Five of Swords, sometimes I say this to people because there's an element with the Five of Swords of people making you behave in a way that's not true to who you are. So make the choice this week to come from a place that is authentically true to yourself, and just check that whatever it is that you're saying, you stand by 100%. And the reason I say this, with the Five of Swords, sometimes people can, you know, what you're saying may be 100% fact, but if you do it swearing, effing and blinding, rah, 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 sometimes what you're actually saying and the factual message behind what you're saying gets lost in the translation of you losing your shit. Do you know what I mean? So this week, try to state the facts, deal with exactly what is without all of the brouhaha and the shouting and screaming, because you'll get so much more out of it. And the chances are, if there are onlookers in this situation, not that you would care, right, people will say, actually, you know what, they're just talking straight facts. So yeah, they're calling you out, but it is what it is, all right? Consider that this week. Your communications and conversations, you have the Five of Wands. So it really does look like, if I'm completely honest with you, I feel like this is about you going head to head with a group. It may be that, you know, you are the unpopular opinion within a certain group that you belong to, within a certain social circle. It could be, you know, a social group, an academic group, maybe one that crosses those bounds. Maybe it's a group that you have a hobby of some sort with. Your Five of Wands, it can be about chaos within a group, but it can be about a group dynamic in and of itself, because it is coming through the guise of this Five of Swords, and it's being, you know, your Five of Wands is being infused by the Five of Swords. This could be a big clash between a group of people, and if I'm completely honest with you, your Lovers card is basically saying yours is going to be the one voice in this entire chorus that is actually speaking any sense. It may very well be that this week you need to find a way to keep yourself from getting involved in all of the, you know, all of the kerfuffle, because it does look like, and you know, I've said this for everybody, we do have a Mercury retrograde that's going to happen at the end of this week. Now, you don't stop living life, you don't stop doing what you're doing or saying what you're saying just because Mercury is retrograde, but you do need to find a way to navigate that energy, because it is present for all of us. It does look and feel though to me that this week you are either at odds with a group or somebody within a group, and it might be, I'm kind of getting this, I want to say, you know, like that childish sort of energy where someone's like, oh well, I'm not talking to them because so and so is not talking to them. Like, what are we, 5? You get my point. And this week, like I said, yours could be the one voice in this entire chorus that is actually making any sense. If you buy into the hype and the spin, you could find yourself, and whatever message you do have, even if it is complete common sense and totally factual, it could be lost in that. All right, so consider that this week. Your money and materials, you've got the Tower card. It is not an easy week for you guys this week by any stretch. I mean, your Tower card, when it comes to your money and materials, this could be about something that you've chosen to study. It could be something that you've chosen to align yourself with. If I'm completely honest with you, if there is something that you're considering buying into, a course of study, a course of treatment, this is not the week. This is just not the week for it. Your Tower card is way too unstable in energy, and it kind of suggests, especially with this, that you might not be getting what you're paying for anyway. So just consider that when it comes to your money and materials. When it comes to those of you, because I've got the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands and the Tower card. When it comes to those of you that are in shared accommodation, this could be the week where something goes sideways and you decide to say to yourself, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. There is definitely this energy behind this, so just keep that as a consideration. Finally, for your love and relationships, okay, so there is a little bit of a saving grace. You got the King of Cups. Now, what I love most about this card is, right, for all of you across the board, this week you will be learning to manage your emotions by looking at everyone else and saying, oh my gosh, these people are crazy. I am not going to act like that, right? Which is really good. This is like, this kind of alleviates some of this Five of Swords energy, which is nice. For those of you that are single, your King of Cups basically says that this week you're looking at your emotional self. You're looking at how you channel and direct your emotional energy and indifference. Like, so let's say the Queen, she's more about how you move and manipulate energy, whereas the King is more about how you direct and focus it. The fact that it is here in your love and relations, for those of you that are single, you could really be paying attention to this. And it does look like, for some of you, you've possibly been seeing or maybe had a crush on somebody that is in one of your social circles. This week you could be seeing a different side to them, and one that you're not really that excited by, let's say. For those of you that are partnered, your King of Cups right underneath your Five of Wands. Interesting. It does look like you guys are socializing this week, and what you're being asked to do more than anything else is to check in with each other about how you feel about the groups that you're associated with. You could be having conversations this week where you say, actually, do you know what? I no longer feel like as a couple, we're compatible with whoever they are or whatever they're into. Your Tower card is infusing your love and relationships. So when it comes to your money and materials, or your home life and your personal life, this could be a week where either your partner has some sort of financial issue pop up or crop up, or it may be something that you guys are dealing with finally manifests. So it looks like this week you guys as a collective, for those of you that are partnered, you're going to have to keep an eye on your finances. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.